Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the KGB Podcast. I'm your host, Christian Sintri, and today I have my good friends with me, Isak Skule. Say hi.
Oh, hey, yeah.
And my
So,
other friend, David Pieters.
Привет.
In this podcast, we'll be discussing and talking about our favorite games, so maybe some recent games we played, or stuff that we really like to enjoy about the games. To start us off, Isak, can you tell us about your favorite game?
my favorite single player game, or like one of the ones that currently has my attention, is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
What game is that?
It is a game that is a third person fighting game. It's made from the famous developers FromSoft from titles such as Dark Souls and Dark Souls sequels, and
Bloodborne.
oh yeah, Bloodborne as well, and then Demon Souls, the one that started it all.
Personally, I haven't played this game. What about you, David?
No, isn't it like Bloodborne but for weeaboos?
Well, you would think, but no, there's more. You can grapple around like some ninja slash samurai ass Batman.
Okay, could you tell us about the game, like how it plays, like how does it work, like gameplay wise?
It works as in it's very different from any of its other predecessors from the FromSoft company. As in, it has stealth features, like actual stealth features. You can lean against walls, crawl into small crawl spaces, and you can grapple up, up attics and whatever not. And also, you have access to multiple options of ninja tools, which make your life easier and gives you a lot of ways to deal with situations that you should not be able to deal with normally.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't games from software considered to be harder than normal games? Require a lot of
Yeah,
skill.
especially this one, because this one is very punishing and has a very steep learning curve when it comes to getting good at the mechanics of the game. The tutorial level is basically you fighting against normal enemies and then fighting mini bosses. You can't upgrade your health or strength until you kill said mini bosses. That's how the game basically forces you to get good.
Okay. How does the story play out in the game? Does it have a story or?
Yes, it's a story-driven single-player game. Multiple options and quest lines you can do for NPCs you find along your way. Um, what I can say is the combat itself is amazingly smooth and very innovative. As in, rather than just simply holding the block button to stop enemy attacks, you're encouraged or basically made mandatory to learn how to parry, basically perfectly pressing the block button to not get staggered by attacks from your enemy, and also breaking your opponent's posture, and slowly but surely you can deal a fatal blow to them.
As some of our listeners will see, as I'm showing gameplay of the game, against the first boss, correct? The Genichiro Ashina.
Yes, this boss shows the very very unfair mechanics in this game, or hard to learn mechanics that you have no clue how, or have no way to learn back when you fight this boss for the first time, you're actually forced to lose to him, no matter what you do. Even if you put him to no health, the game forces you to lose in a cutscene, and you lose your hand, but instead you gain mystical ninja powers, or like tools, which are amazing in themselves.
Have you played this game for long, or how long?
Let me see. I'm like halfway through the game, but I have the playtime of 60 hours on this game currently, and so far the most. If you've played Dark Souls before, this game will really mess with you, because this game is so different from Dark Souls. Because in Dark Souls, you have the tendency to, when an attack comes your way, you try to roll and use invincibility frames you get while rolling perfectly. In this game, you don't get that. You don't get invincibility frames. So you're actually supposed to block or try to jump. But dodges here and there to dodge grab attacks are absolutely mandatory.
Do you have anything to add, David? Maybe like a question that you would like to ask about the game?
Are there any waifus?
Jesus, that's well, yes, there is the doctor that gives you the health upgrades. She is a waifu indeed. She is very cute. Okay, this is off subject, but yeah, you can just Google her. She's called Emma. You can probably put her on screen somewhere later on. But anyway, yes, the whole thing of the game is also, when you die, you can come back once. When, like, the first time you die, you don't actually die for each time you. It's hard to explain. Basically, the first time after respawning completely, you can die an additional time without having to reset the whole area, but you come back with like half your HP.
Oh. Well, personally, I've only played 2 games from Software, which is Bloodborne and Dark Souls. And from what I can see from the gameplay, this game is very fast-paced, correct?
Yes, you need to have lightning-fast reflexes to often parry the things that are coming to you. Often having to parry multiple attacks, because even though different from Dark Souls, when you parry, you don't stop your enemy from attacking. You need to parry multiple times and fill out what it's called a posture bar. And when that bar is filled up, you will posture break them, and then you can deal a fatal blow that either kills them or destroys one of their health bars, depending how powerful the enemy is. Enemies have multiple health bars in this game, on the contrary to other FromSoft games. Also, you also have a posture bar. You can only block an X amount of things before you totally break down for 1 second and take a brunt of a hit. So,
just to explain, it's the top middle bar, the enemy's like posture bar, and the bottom middle one, your posture bar.
Yes.
Okay. Were you going to say something, David?
No, I was just interested in the waifus.
Also, there are many skill trees, so you can focus on more stealth gameplay, or getting far more rewards from parrying successfully. There are many ways to play this game. If you want to play more ranged or defensively and stealth, there's just so many ways. Also, you lose half of your money when you die, and your XP that would give you, or like XP for 1 level. Half of it.
The game forces you to kind of play strategically.
Yes, you must play very, how can I say this, haphazardly, basically just play very defensively. Your XP and money do matter, and the thing is, this game has also an incredible system where there's like money pouches where you can buy them at shops. So instead of losing money every time you die, before you do something risky or stupid, you could go to a shop, buy money pouches, which are worth a little more than what they give you, and basically store your money in a safe way in your inventory. Also, there's a small chance when you die that you don't lose your XP or money.
Would you say like how the game plays with you dying over and over again? Do you feel that you are getting better at the game as you progress on, or?
Yes, every death teaches you something new about how to improve your gameplay and how to better yourself from doing the same mistake that killed you last time.
Well, thank you for telling us about your game. And now, David, you chose a pretty interesting game, correct?
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm just saying it's different from like the games that me and Isak choose. What is the name of your game? I don't know. Can you tell me what is the name of the game that you decided to pick? As I showed the picture of it.
Okay. It is called Hatoful Boyfriend.
No, that's not the one that you picked.
Oh. Okay.
The one with the bear.
Alright. This is called Danganronpa. So, basically what this game is, it's a visual novel. It's about you and around 15 other classmates that get locked in the school, and you are forced to murder each other by a psycho bear. Any questions?
Yes. How does the psycho bear have the powers to lock people inside the school? And how did he get them?
Well, we don't know. It just kind of appears.
It just is there. A powerful entity. Okay, cool.
Well, the game starts with the main character, the protagonist, Makoto, going into this prestigious school for elite students. But then when he enters the school, the screen gets all blurry, and then the screen fades out, and then later, he wakes up in a classroom. He decides to go explore, and then he finds a room full of other people, the other students. And then, nobody knows how they got there, and everyone experienced the same phenomena of blacking out and waking up. And then, later, after you're introduced to everyone, you get called to the gym, where this black and white bear, with one side of his face having a red eye, like Venom has in Spider-Man, but red.
Mm-hmm.
He's very cheerful, kind of cute, and then he informs you that you are locked inside the school. All the windows and doors are shut tight, titanium blockades, and you are told that you can live here for the rest of your life. You will be provided with food and everything you need to live. But he said there is one way to escape. It is you have to kill someone. One of the other classmates. But that is not enough. You must get away with it.
Oh my god. That is a very sinister...
It is a visual novel. As I said, the game is made up out of 6 chapters.
Oh.
One half is, I guess, like the daily life. It's mostly just walking around talking to people, 90% reading. In fact, the whole game is just 90% reading, so if you don't like to read, you probably hate this game. Well, anyway, after a certain amount of time has passed, usually in each chapter, one or sometimes multiple dead bodies are found, and you have to investigate and search for clues. Later, you get a certain amount of time to investigate, and after a while, you're called by Monokuma, Killer Bear, to the trial room, where there's a class trial will commence. where you discuss the murder scene and everything that happened, and by the end of the trial, everyone must vote on who they think did the murder. If they vote correctly, the murderer will be punished. By punished, he or she will be executed.
Oh, wow.
If the people vote wrong, then everyone but the murderer will be executed, and the murderer will be set free. Yes. So you have to make sure you accuse and convict the right person, or else everyone else will die.
Oh my god, so no matter what, only one survives. It's either everyone survives.
No, if you convict the killer, if you guess who the killer is, then only the killer dies. And then the rest of them get to keep living on. But if you accuse or convict the wrong person, then only the killer survives. Everyone else is killed.
Yeah, my point is, so it's either if we fail to escape, which we will do eventually because someone has to kill someone else, and doing one mistake in choosing a suspect of the killer gets everyone else killed. So there's only one person really getting out of this.
Yes, that is the premise. That is what Monokuma, I guess, wants you to do. That they'll just slowly kill each other off one by one. If you find the killer every time, then eventually only like 2 people will remain. The game doesn't specify what happens if just 2 people remain, because then you can't exactly have a trial. But
can you bribe Monokuma so he can choose you to win?
No.
No.
No one has attempted it. Monokuma's goal is to just bring despair to everyone. But later in the game, there are some. You have to investigate the school you are locked in, Hope's Peak Academy.
Oh.
You can kind of sort of have to put a lot of pieces together and to paint a picture of what's really going on, what's going on in the outside world and if you can do that successfully, you might just be able to escape the school without having to murder someone.
Ooh.
One thing I don't know if you mentioned it because I'm kind of sewn out there, is that a lot of the students look really different, like as if they're older than they are, and that they're named with like ultimate something.
Oh yes. Well, the only one older is Hagakure, who is, I believe, a few years older than all the other students because he was held back or something. There is one point of dialogue with Hagakure that he mentions that he snuck into the school and wasn't actually accepted. I'm not sure how true that is or not. The game is kind of vague with things. But every other student, I think, is supposed to be around the ages of 15 or 16. And as I said, this is a class for the elite, and by elite, the game presents it as everyone is the best, or the elite of one specific thing. Like, there is an ultimate athlete. They present them as ultimates. Like, there's this one girl who's the ultimate athlete, this one girl who's the ultimate gambler, one boy who's the ultimate effluent progeny, and you, as the protagonist, you are the ultimate lucky student. Because you only got accepted into the high school because you won a lottery.
Wow.
Or they accept only one, like, regular student.
As some of the viewers can see, like, they all look pretty different compared to, like, that Makoto looks very different compared to the other students, correct?
Yes, he looks very basic.
Like a basic
compared to... Oh boy, I hope your teacher doesn't take points off you for that bad word.
I mean, I'm 18, I'm sure I'm allowed to curse, but...
Not on this good Christian podcast.
I'm sorry. Too bad.
Apologize right now.
I would like to do a formal apology. This will be my first and last podcast that I'll ever do. So enjoy it while it lasts.
And the game puts a lot of emphasis on characters and character arcs. Occasionally you get some free time and you can choose to spend it with one character or another, or the ones. And you sort of grow an attachment to these characters, the ones you like.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game slaps you in the face and kills them just when you start to like them.
Do you have a favorite character that you enjoy talking to in the game and interacting with?
I suppose Byakuya Togami would be mine. He is a rich boy, and he thinks he's better than everyone else.
Which is
but he has some amazing lines. He's constantly so condescending to everyone else. Thinks he's so above life. But it's so funny to hear him talk. It's like he's so full of himself. But he does it kind of in a funny way.
Personally, you and I, David, are the only ones that have played the game. But for someone like Isak, do you? This is a question towards you, Isak. Do you think you would play this game after hearing about it?
Sure. It sounds like an interesting, like a novel adventure game. Or mystery, more like.
And the game has excellent writing. There are a lot of funny moments. There's a lot of more emotional moments. The writers of this game really put a lot of work into it, and you can really tell from all the dialogue.
Especially how the way Monokuma acts with the line, did you say I've got the nicest butt on the block? Or something about at the age of playing with plastic bottles and your genitals? Yeah, here.
Yes, this game does not shy away from dirty humor.
Like, it's because of all you teenagers are sex-crazed maniacs, and at that age playing with plastic bottles.
Yeah, out of context that might seem wrong.
Yes, humping a plastic bottle.
That doesn't happen in the game. Just some joke.
That's a massive disappointment. -1 star.
Oh no! But there is one point in the game where you can sneak into the the spa room while the girls are in it.
Ooh, pervy. Very Japanese. Very accurate. -500, plus 500 stars. I mean.
Oh, and it also has a JoJo's reference.
Plus infinite.
Would you recommend this game for someone who hasn't played a lot of games?
Yeah, it's pretty chill. Oh yes. It all depends on your taste. It's very abstract game.
Yeah.
Not something you normally just find, for instance, just on TV, just some book in a library.
Mm-hmm.
It's very high energy, very unique characters stand out. Anyone that likes good writing would enjoy this game.
Okay. Now I'm going to transition from here to talk about my favorite game that I played recently, which is The Last of Us. And I know that you have played this game, David, and what have you, Isak?
Yeah, I've played it also. Yeah.
So, just to let everyone know who actually still wants to play this game, or any of these games, a bit late, but there are spoilers, at least in my thing, because how the game plays with the story. But to explain the game, it's personally I think it's a game about family and the connections they can form with people, especially as a father-daughter relationship. But the story takes place in 2033, and it's basically after a fungus virus has devastated the human race, and there are not a lot of people left. If I'm just keep in mind, it's been a while since I played this game, so David, if there's anything I forget, please correct me.
Well, the virus is called the cordyceps virus.
Yeah, which is a real fungus. But the game starts off with you playing as Joel, and with his daughter, who sells hardcore drugs, Sarah.
Yes, very, very hardcore drugs. Yeah.
They live the game shows you that they live in Texas, that it's just the two of them together, and that they have strong relationships. But after that night of Joel coming home late from work, the virus starts spreading around the world, especially like in their area at the moment, and has basically infected pretty much all of their friends that they know. And Joel's brother Tommy goes to them to help them escape from the city, but on the way they end up in a car accident, and Sarah's hurt. And when they were able to walk out of the city, they meet a military man, and the military man is given order to shoot Joel and Sarah. They barely manage to escape, but it ends up with Sarah dying in front of Joel while he is still holding her. And basically cuts to 20 years later, where Joel is a smuggler now, and basically is a broken man, not the same man that he used to be. So the game basically follows Joel as he is given a mission to smuggle a girl out of the city named Ellie, who he later learns that is immune to the cordyceps virus and could be the right way towards the cure. But as the game progresses, you, as the player, and Joel form a connection with Ellie, and it shows an amazing story relationship between them. You see Joel slowly starting to trust Ellie, and Ellie starting to trust Joel, and just basically gameplay of that, and you also meeting other survivors on your way to the place where you have to take Ellie. I mean, I don't know about you two, but I personally remember Sam and the knockoff Childish Gambino, the two brothers that you meet.
Oh yes, the two African Americans. Yeah.
Yes. And you can see, from them, that they live a much different life than Joel and Ellie have lived with. Well, they both have lived in quarantine zones. These guys choose to live outside and only carry the essentials. And then there's, the moment where, now, a bit of spoiler territory, where Joel gets hurt at the university, where they believe they had to go. And basically, if you play the DLC, it cuts to you playing as Ellie, trying to look for medicine to help Joel so he fix his wounds.
What about the gameplay itself?
Personally, I like the gameplay, as I like how the enemies are created, with how the fungus infects them. Because it's basically just how the cordyceps fungus infects real life ants and flies.
There are the runny boys, the clicky boys, the sneaky boys, and the thick boys, right?
Yeah, or the runners, the clickers, the stalkers, and the boomers.
Yeah, that's their normie names, I guess.
Yeah. But each enemy has their own, personality, with the runners acting as basically newly infected, or haven't been infected that long, so they're kind of still fighting back the virus, as you can sometimes hear them talk, or say a couple words like they're still in there.
Yes.
Then there are, the stalkers who basically stalk you and wait for the opportunity where you're not thinking about them to attack you, and can easily fuck up a zero-death playthrough in the game.
Oh, you didn't go there.
Then there are the clickers, where they use echolocation and sound to walk around and locate the player. So you have to be really sneaky, otherwise you can just get detected and they insta-kill you.
Overall, it's a very emotional story, and it's a very good one that gets you emotionally invested into the player character and their companions.
I think compared to a lot of TV shows today, or like movies, they do a really good job on the story.
Yes, it's a very heartwarming story about two people with basically no one left and learning to sort of fill each other in as that role that they need.
Yes.
And
Coming back to why it's called Last of Us.
I don't know about you, but one of my favorite moments in the game was the final level with Joel going through the hospital,
Oh.
where he learned that in order to develop a cure, they will have to kill Ellie, which he did not agree with. So he ended up killing everyone in the hospital. Not everyone, like basically everyone important there, just to get Ellie out of the hospital and allow her to live a normal life.
Those doctors were looking at me funny, they deserve to die.
Of course.
Yeah. At the same time, you have to understand from their point, they're just trying to develop a cure to save humanity. But from Joel's point, he is just basically losing another daughter again right in front of his eyes.
Yes.
So
that's about sums up all our topics, right?
Yes. Before the outbreak, that'll be in a minute.
We're not going to talk about the great villain of The Last of Us?
Which is what, the infected or the Fireflies? Or
okay. I guess David is just not no.
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
There's a scene in the game when Joel is still recovering, you're playing as Ellie, where you meet David's doppelganger.
Oh no.
Which is the guy who owns the bandit camp and was the one that had the bandits that attacked you at the university.
It's David's doppelganger is the dude who is the boss fight in the bar? Wow.
Yes. And
my evil twin voiced by Nolan North.
Yes.
Nolan North. Voices
David in the game believes that Joel has basically infected Ellie's mind. I think he can turn her towards him or something like that. But at the same time, Ellie knows that Dave is cannibal. He will eat humans in order to survive.
Yeah, when David is introduced, he is introduced as a very calm demeanor. Not especially, doesn't have an especially violent nature, and Ellie kind of is cautious of him at first, but comes trust him as they fight together to survive the evil zombies, I guess.
And then, later on, when Ellie's captured, you learn basically that he also has a bad temper. And it's
weird. Yeah, you learn later, when after all the zombies are killed, that it's his group that almost killed Joel all that time ago. And that's when he starts to get a little bit rapey.
Yeah, there's that scene where you're Ellie fighting David. He says a lot of weird rapey things, which maybe for some could be off-putting, but at the same time, you can think of it.
Well, the worst thing he ever physically does is try to hold Ellie's hand. Then Ellie promptly breaks his finger.
Yeah.
Or bites it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was broken anyway at the end of it.
Anyway, that's all right. We've covered everything.
But I just wanted to ask, do you guys have a favorite moment in The Last of Us? Since we actually all played it, so we can actually talk about it.
I like the part where you could see Bill's thick.
What about you, Isak?
Who's Bill? Who's Bill? Why can't I remember who Bill is?
The gay guy that you meet when you're trying to get a car.
The dude, the big thick boy with the delicious behind. That's who.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Relatively close to the beginning. After Tess dies, you meet Bill.
Oh yeah. The very paranoid mechanic. Yeah.
With the gay lover who committed suicide.
Yeah. I felt so bad for Bill, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a nice character.
The game really is good when showing like that each character lives a different life, but all of them suffer.
And I guess my favorite scene would be, in when you meet Tommy down in and when Ellie runs off, and like they have all that, yeah.
Yeah, when you meet Tommy down in Jackson, and she runs off.
Yeah. She runs off, and then they have this kind of very intimate conversation. Joel says some hurtful things to Ellie. Like that whole scene, and especially the voice acting, especially there was superb, and how then later.
Troy Baker, the voice of Joel, and Ashley Johnson, the voice of Ellie, did a really good job with the voice acting.
Like that scene wasn't the happiest scene, but it really kind of had the most powerful emotional impact, I think. The whole game had a lot of powerful emotional impacts, but that one was probably my favorite.
I think it also just shows us how games are becoming more mainstream media, and that games can actually have a really intriguing story, while TV shows have a lot of fillers and maybe not as good of a character development.
Yeah, Bleach.
The Flash, a bit.
Flash, Season 1. Someone is faster than me. We must beat him. I beat him. Season 2, someone is even faster than the last guy. We must beat him.
But so,
Season 3, etc.
We can end this off. David, a word from our sponsor.
Oh yes. This video was sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is an immersive and online experience with everything you'd expect from a brand new RPG title. It's got an amazing storyline, awesome 3D graphics, giant boss fights, PvP battles, and hundreds of never-before-seen champions to collect and customize. I never expected to get this level of performance out of a mobile game. Look how crazy the level of detail is on these champions. Raid Shadow Legends, trademark, is getting big real fast, so you should definitely get in early. Starting now, we will give you a huge head start. There's also an upcoming special launch tournament with crazy prizes. Not to mention, this game is absolutely, completely free. So go ahead and check out the video description to find out more about Raid Shadow Legends. There, you will find a link to the store page and a special code to unlock all sorts of goodies. Using the special code, you can get 50,000 silver immediately and a free epic level champion as part of the new players program. Courtesy, of course, of the Raid Shadow Legends devs.
And that was the word from our sponsors, Raid Shadow Legends. Now, after the sponsor, my friends had to go for a bit, but instead I have here another friend of mine, Anish Pastola from America.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So, Ash, this podcast, as I told my friends, is just us talking about like a game that we like, and we've been just talking about our favorite games, so would you like to tell us your favorite game?
Oh, my favorite game is Hollow Knight. Definitely Hollow Knight. It's an indie game that was released by Team Cherry, and it's by far my most favorite game ever.
What kind of game is it? Like, is it like?
It's I'd say it's a platformer with it's a Metroidvania. If you know what that is.
Like
so, it's yes.
Like a class of Metroid and Castlevania, yes.
Yes, that's what it is. And it's amazing. Like, the combat system is great. So it's like Dark Souls, but not Dark Souls.
Yeah.
The whole story takes place in this kingdom called Hallow Nest. It's where the whole game takes place. So Hallow Nest is actually a fallen kingdom, of a sort. you play as a character. People call him. He has no name, but people call him the Knight or Little Ghost as one of the characters. Calls character in the game. Her name's Hornet. She's another character. She's an ally. And yeah, so if you want the whole story of the game, you want me to go over the whole story?
Just like the basic premise of the game.
The basics. All right. So basic premise: you're this guy. Again, we mentioned this called the Knight or Little Ghost, as people call him, and he's coming to this kingdom because there's an infection going on. The whole kingdom's ruined because of this infection. Because this moth god, her name's the Radiance. She's a moth. She's a big moth god. She was sealed away because she was forgotten by the people that she created this tribe of moths, and they worshipped her. And then and then this guy, his name is the Pale King. He comes along, and then he creates this kingdom called Hallownest. And then all the moth tribe forgets about the Radiance, starts worshipping the Pale King. And since the Radiance, she's a dream being. She lives in the dream world, which is just a dream world, self-explanatory.
Yeah.
She lives in the dream world, and they just forget about her. So she was essentially sealed away and forgotten. But after a while, like a real long time, after the Pale King's rule, he created the Hallownest. He did all the sorts. He just basically ran the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
He got with this lady. Her name is the White Lady. People call her. She's also a god, like the Pale King and the Radiance. She's a tree lady, pretty much.
Okay.
So he gets with that, and that's his queen of Hallownest. So the queen is the White Lady, king is the Pale King. And from that, they just rule the kingdom for a while. And then the Radiance is back. But yeah, so the Radiance is back, and she takes over the minds of bugs. The whole game is like everybody's bugs. The characters bugs, everything's bugs.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all bug themed. It's pretty cool. That's a really nice art as well.
Oh, sorry. God bless America. Just
I
go
just
on.
had a cheeseburger. Yeah, I just had a cheeseburger as well.
Mm-hmm.
America. So this sickness called the infection, it takes over the minds of bugs and allows the Radiance to control them. And then this thing spreads all throughout the kingdom. And the Pale King's like, whoa, I need to do something about this. So what he does is he has like a metric. He has a lot of babies with the queen, and the babies are born of two gods. One god's the queen, White Lady, and the Pale King. So, and then what they do with these babies, they're called vessels. They throw them in this place called the Abyss, which is the big open well. And there's this thing called Void. It's pretty much just a thing that opposes life. So they throw their eggs, the babies of their eggs, in the Void, and they kill them. They do this because the Void empties out the vessels and makes them completely hollow. The Radiance can only control bugs through thoughts and emotions and dreams. So the Pale King's line of thought was, well, if this guy doesn't have any emotion, thoughts, or anything, the Radiance can't control them. So he makes a lot of babies, a lot of them fail, and he's trying to find one that's completely hollow. So he eventually finds one after a whole lot of babies have been killed. This knight is known as a Hollow Knight, and we don't actually play as him. So we're actually one of the failed vessels, the player character. So the Hollow Knight, he's completely hollow. So they seal the Radiance inside the Hollow Knight, and these three people, they're called the Dreamers. They're put to sleep, and they act as a seal to hold the Hollow Knight in place. So the three Dreamers are Lauren the Watcher, Mon the Teacher, and Hera the Beast. The two except Hera, are just citizens of Hallownest. The Hera the Beast, she's actually the queen of another thing in Hallownest called Deep Nest. They're just spiders, pretty much. So she's the queen of the spiders, and the Pale King. She's like, no, I don't want to do this for you. To the Pale King. Instead, she asks for a baby from the Pale King.
Okay.
So the Pale King gives her a baby. The baby's after that she's pregnant. She gives birth to the baby and becomes a dreamer. and those 3 bugs are put to sleep and sealed away, and to hold the radiance. So the radiance is inside of a bug, inside of the Hollow Knight, inside of a big black egg that's holding the Hollow Knight. He's bound in chains and everything.
Okay.
And then on top of that, there's an interdimensional seal holding the Hollow Knight. And it didn't work. The radiance still comes out and the infection still spreads. By this time, the Pale King just runs away, pretty much. His entire castle, it's called the White Palace, it just straight up vanishes, and the whole kingdom's pretty much falls to ruin with these infected bugs and everywhere.
Yeah.
And then that's when the player character comes in, does stuff, and kills the Radiants. So that's just his plot, and the actual gameplay is like really good. There's a whole bunch of bosses and everything.
I really like the art style of the game. It's like
yes, it's very
well
nice.
done. Like the animations that they do and all that.
The art was actually built on Photoshop, just like it was all digitally done. And the game itself is built on Unity, the Unity game engine.
Yeah.
And all of this was built by like 2 guys, pretty much. Team Cherry. They're like a tiny game development studio. 2 guys, pretty much, built this whole game. Started as a Kickstarter, and then it became a full game after like 800 something days of being in the Kickstarter. I really like this game because like the combat mechanics are so smooth, and it's really amazing because there's so many bosses. They're all unique. All the bosses are unique and super fun. Like they're not just some like reskin of everything. They all have their own lore and everything. So and the platforming as well. Aside from the combat, the platforming is amazing. Their control of the characters like perfect. It's super precise. So any mistake you make is not the game's fault. It's like your fault.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it. And
From
the story as well.
Like I've played a bit of Hollow Knight, but not all of it because I've been busy. But from what I play, I agree with you. The story is really interesting, like, and the way it's told, and the gameplay itself is fun to play, and it really encourages to explore, like, and come back to locations after you left them.
I've beaten this game like 5 times now, and I still find new locations like I haven't seen before, and it still surprises me. It's such a big game. The map is absolutely huge, and there's only like 4 areas you required to beat the game, quote unquote beat the game. There's like 5 endings to the game as well.
Yeah.
And there's only 4 areas you can go to get the first ending or so. Only 4, and you get the first ending. And everything else is optional. Even the optional areas are really well designed.
Yeah.
Like incredibly well designed. And the bosses are just perfect. They're very difficult, especially if you're not very good at the game. They're really difficult, and they all make sense in the story. And did I mention this game has had 3 DLCs, and they were all free.
Yeah.
And each DLC added a bunch. Free DLCs.
The game itself is, like, from what I know,
$15.
Yeah, it's really cheap, really well made. Made by like not a lot of people, and I know they're working on a sequel, correct?
Yeah, called Hollow Knight Silksong. Can't wait. You actually play as Hornet, who is the child of Hera the Beast, one of the 3 people put to sleep, and
Would you recommend like this game to people who haven't played a lot of video games? Since we've been talking about that in the podcast.
Let's see. Would I recommend this?
Or would you rather recommend this to like an experienced gamer?
What do you define as experienced gamer?
Like, for someone who basically has stopped playing any games, I doubt that this game would be something that they could play and actually, understand the mechanics. But who knows? Everyone is skilled differently.
The fun part is actually not knowing what to do, because I've played this game for a long time, and I know where everything is. I know which upgrades I should get, like which one I should get first. I know that. My first time playing was the most fun ever, like I ever had in a game ever, because I knew nothing, and like everything was a surprise. Since I didn't know what was going on, I didn't know if I should be here. I didn't know what this does. I don't know if everything was a surprise and it was amazing. At first, it is kind of difficult because you need to. It's very precise. Like the combat system, really precise. The bosses are fast, and you don't get a lot of leeway for mistakes. But you can revive, and it's all good. So yeah, the funniest part is just not knowing what to do. So I would most likely recommend this game to people who don't play much.
Just more like wondering, the difficulty curve. Like
difficulty is hard.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. It's Dark Souls.
Yeah.
It's pretty much Dark Souls, but with bugs. And it's a platformer.
I'd say, in my opinion, it'd be better to maybe introduce after they played a couple of games instead of just straight away.
Yeah, no, you don't want to give this straight away.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, you don't even need to go through all the game to beat it. Again, as I mentioned, you only need to go to about 4 or 5 areas to actually beat it. Yeah, that's what's super fun.
How did you discover this game exactly? Just to...
Ooh, that is a good question. I don't remember. How did I discover this game?
Did like a friend tell you about it, or did you just stumble upon it and wanted to try it out?
I think I heard about it somewhere. I don't know. I don't actually remember how I found this game. I'm pretty sure I just stumbled across on it. First, I actually pirated it because I am a filthy pirate. I usually pirate a lot of games that I don't want to buy them and like be disappointed, so I just pirate most of them.
I'm just gonna remind you this conversation is recorded, so I'm gonna have to turn this into the police. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the game was actually so good. I deleted the pirate version just to buy it on Steam. That's how much I liked it. I bought it even though I had the game, all the DLCs and everything for free. It was so good, I bought it.
And by buying the game, you're also supporting the developers a lot more.
Oh yeah, and it's only $15. It's really underpriced for so much content. Like, first time I beat the game, like fully beat the game, get all 3 endings, I had over 100 hours in the game. My first time. Over $100, and this was only $15. And this, keep in mind, this wasn't this was before some of the DLCs as well. So each DLC adds like the first one of the DLCs called the Grim Troop. It adds about 30 or so hours of gameplay, and the other DLC, the final DLC called Godmaster, it adds well over another 100 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
And they're all free.
Which is really great of them. It's great that they're giving out free content for the game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even on the Kickstarter, one of the rewards for raising enough money was adding a thing called the Coliseum Fools. They didn't reach the goal, but they added it in the game anyways. That's how generous they are. It's really just amazing.
It's also amazing, like, compared to how modern games are, like, today, with a lot of, 3D graphics, more realistic, to see a game that is, 2D, made by an indie developer, that isn't trying to focus on making the game look as realistic as possible, just a beautiful, basically, art piece. Yeah, they're trying to just
make their own world, and it's amazing.
Is there anything else you would like to add before we end off this episode?
No, I think I've talked about everything I loved so much about this game.
Combat,
the art style, the bosses, everything. Amazing.
Maybe something like, I forgot to ask my friends earlier, but maybe I'll ask you, like, for someone who has not played any games like my teacher, is there any specific game you would recommend them trying out? To, like...
Oh, yes, there's probably one.
What?
This is a very cliche option, but I'd say Minecraft.
Maybe like play with their kids, good family time. That could work.
Plus, that's where I met you.
Plus, maybe another game that would be also like a good game for someone to start with would be the Telltale games, correct?
Oh yeah, the Telltale games. I don't really consider them games. They're more just like a point-and-click adventure to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, Telltale's gone now. They kind of went out of business.
They're back.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But still, you can still buy the Telltale games. Like, they license a lot of properties for someone like her, like the teacher, or someone like a grown-up who doesn't have a lot of time. there are a lot of
Lot of time.
games for them to pick.
Oh, I would probably choose Minecraft still. One, it's most selling game of all time. The kids probably play a lot of it and know about it. So there's something to do with your kids. Play Minecraft with them.
Mm-hmm.
They probably like you for it because you're relating to them. You know?
Yeah, there's also like games like from Nintendo and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, those also work.
Anyway, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Yep.
Now, this is where I'm going to end off the podcast. I just hope that you enjoy, and if you want more, let me know, and I'll do another episode. Maybe get some new friends, or talk more about video games, or something else in common with that, instead of just our favorite video games. Maybe like new releases and what's happening in the video game worlds, content creators. If you want to play video games, where to start, but I'm going to end this right here. Thank you for having me.